So I don't know about you, but if you've ever been told, I have a mission for you, and it's to go and find somebody a wife, I think if I were me, I might run away. Because after all, we know of midrashim in rabbinic literature detailing how hard it is to find somebody, a significant other. There's one story where a noble Roman woman challenged the rabbis. What is it that God is doing now that creation is done? And the answer is making partnerships happen. And she said, oh, that's easy, was her response. And she took all of these male slaves and all of these female slaves and put them in a room and said, now find a partner. And when she came back the next morning, you want to know what she saw? Anyone have a guess?
Bunch of dead men.
No. Could have been dead men. No, it was supposedly a lot of bloody noses and cuts and bruises and scrapes and black eyes and the like, because it turns out you can't force people to fall in love. You can't force people to go and engage on a mission and guarantee success. Now, this mission was special because, after all, there was an angel present, and the angel was going to guarantee a path for Elazar, Abraham's servant, to guarantee success. But I'm sure you are also equally aware that there are times in our lives when we feel compelled to go on a specific mission. If you are an Olympic athlete, after all, you will have trained much of your life for that mission. You will have gotten up, if you're a swimmer, 4:35 a.m. to hit the pool, and yet again in the morning, and yet again in the afternoon. And when you stand at the end and you've gotten to the end of your mission, how amazing does it feel? Usually, if you're an Olympic athlete, pretty good, because the chance is infinitesimally small that you've made it onto the podium. That's right, not a lot of people make it there. Not a lot of people achieve that mission. In conversations with my son, David, we've talked about the number of athletes who go from playing sports like football at home in their backyard to making it into the NFL. And I'm sure you can figure out what that number is. I think it's like 1%. And of that 1%, it's even smaller who make buco bucks. So we know that accomplishing things like that, of hitting those goals and making those milestones happen, that's hard work. And that takes determination. But when we think about the types of goals that you hit, you would probably be surprised to learn that and I'll ask you the question, who is the happiest on the medal stand? Is it the gold medalist or the silver medalist? You guys can answer. It's kind of obvious. The gold medalist. That's right. The gold medalist tends to be the most happy. What about the second? Who thinks the silver medalist or the bronze medalist? Who's the happiest? The bronze medalist. You guys are my plants, whoever said that. It's true, the bronze medalist. The most unhappy person on that podium of accomplishing their mission is the silver medalist, because they are so focused on the fact that they were this close and did not make it. So even when we accomplish our goals, even when we make it to the Olympics, even when we have worked so hard, even when we sat there and we're going to hit that end stone of that mission, success has rung out, we realize very few people hit the gold. And the happiest person, well, that person may have hit the gold. Second happiest can look back and say, thank God I just made it onto the podium. Because after all, a majority of us should be happy that we simply made it through the journey. But one of the things that, if you learn anything about happiness or psychology, one of the gifts that it has taught us is that it's fun to focus on the end goal. And I'm sure if I was Abraham's servant focusing on the end goal of finding Isaac a wife, well, I would have been focused on that too, because I would have just put my hand underneath Abraham's thigh, made a vow that I was going to work very hard to hit that goal, and prayed to God that I was going to hit it, because who knows what would have happened to me otherwise. But the truth is that for most of us, life isn't about the end goal. It's not about the gold medal, silver medal, or the bronze. It's ultimately about the journey. It's about finding ways to get excited about that journey. It's finding ways to lean into the journey so that we don't let the journey wear us down, but we learn from the journey. And so I hope that this little discussion on this beautiful journey that Abraham's servant went reminds us that yes, it was an impossible task. Just like becoming an Olympic athlete is an impossible task, just like making it into the NFL. But sometimes we are, after all, called to do the impossible. Even if we're called to do the impossible, don't let it bog you down. Don't get overwhelmed. Keep trudging, because that's where you're going to find the happiness. And who knows, you might be that 1% that makes it. You might even be that 0.5% that hits the real money. But I suspect along the way, many amazing, exciting things will happen to you. Can you hear its own? May this be God's will.